On behalf of Management Committee of Tirupur branch of SARC of ICI, I welcome our today's speaker, CA Rajesh Kannan, Vice Chairman of our branch. Welcome you, sir, for this CP meeting.
Thank you.
Today we have a very interesting topic, that is automation in auditing and accounting. That is need of the hour. Why? Because COVID situation, we have in work from home. That's why automation is very, very important. So we asked our Bill Gates of Tirupur branch, CA Rajesh Kannan, for conducting the automation and accounting auditing for automation. So he readily accept our invitation. Thank you, Rajesh, for your acceptance. Now I hand over to Mahesh.
Thank you, Chairman. Now it's time for a formal introduction of our today's speaker. CA Rajesh Kannan started his schooling at St. Joseph Matriculation Higher Secondary School in Tirupur and completed with Perks Matriculation Higher Secondary School in Coimbatore. He undergraduated with Commerce degree in the year 2001 from PSG College of Arts and Science in Coimbatore. He joined as an article clerk under his father, CAS Selvan, for pursuing Chartered Accountancy course. He qualified as Chartered Accountant in February 2005. He also completed the post-qualification course on Information System Audit in the year 2007. Also completed the certificate course on concurrent audit and the certificate course on GST organized by NCA. A fellow member specializes in the field of Indian taxation, goods and service tax, information technology, and corporate law. He has held various positions in Tirupur branch of SARC of ICAI during his tenure in the management committee in 2007 to 10 and 2013 to 16. He was a member of student committee during the term 2006 and 7. He was the secretary during the term 2009-10. He was held the position of vice chairman during the year 2013-14 and 14-15. At the age of 33, he took over as chairman in the year 2015-16. He has presented papers for CAs on topics in GST, information technology, bank audit, and income tax. He teaches information technology, financial management, and IIT training for IPCC students. He has presented various papers for college students across Coimbatore and Tirupur. He also made CA career guidance program in various government schools in Tirupur district. He is Charter Secretary of Rotary Club of Tirupur Next Generation for the term 2013-14 and 14-15, and the President for the term 2018 and 19. He was the captain of the ICA Tirupur cricket team in All India CA cricket tournament held at Pune in the year 2015 and Thane in the year 2016, and the Panchapudha cricket tournaments held across Salem, Coimbatore, Tirupur, and Palakkad. Has interest in traveling, computer programming, and plays professional cricket at Tirupur Division 1. With these few words, I introduce Mr. C.S. Rajesh Kannan to this August audience, and I also request C.S. Rajesh Kannan to take over the session and present the topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahesh, for the brief introduction, though it is not necessary because already all the members of the branch know about me. So anyway, thank you, Mahesh, for the introduction. I also thank the Tirupur branch of SARC of ICA, the managing committee led by Chairman Murugesan and his team for giving me an opportunity to make a presentation on the topic of the robotic process automation. So before moving into the topic, I'll just like to know how many of you have made your work automated in your offices, and what are the work you have automated in your offices? Normally, VCAs are always familiar with doing works manually, whether it be the preparation of the income tax returns or the vouching, which were already existing in manual, or step by step going into the mode of it is in automation. Like from the manual books of accounts, we have just shifted to the tally. So the tally is fully computerized part of data. So most of the data are the transactions are getting into data mode. Like for example, the bank statements, the accounts are made in either tally or it is from tally in tally also all the data are coming into tally, and some of the other softwares like the Zoho books and some other accounting softwares are already online. So these are the areas where most of the data are collected in online. So with which the most of the data are changing into automation. But what here we are going to discuss about is the some of the process which we regularly do in our practice, in our profession, which can be automated. So what are the process we have to follow when we have to automate these kinds of work, which will give benefit for us in the future, and also reduce the various costs. So I'll just directly move into the topic. Robotic process automation in accounting and auditing. So this is the agenda of the day. First, we are going to discuss about the era of automation. So why this automation is important in our day-to-day life, and what is the robotic process automation? It is simply called the RPA, the robotic process automation. And what are the key objectives of implementing RPA? Why we have to implement RPA and what are its objectives? And RPA across industries. So what are the industries which uses this RPA presently? And what are the benefits we can acquire out of this RPA? And in our practice, what are the areas which wherein which we can use this RPA in our regular practice? And I can also discuss some of the live examples, using live examples where we can use this RPA using Excel macros. So Excel macros is a programming language provided by VBA. So Visual Basics. So this Visual Basics macros help us in reducing a lot of our work. So how it can be done? I'll give you some of the live examples. So this is the agenda for the evening. Era of automation. So automation is just taking over. Like we can say that the robots are ready, or you, because as a professional, we can see a lot of areas getting converted into automation. For instance, take a software like Swiggy. When we just place an order, the information automatically goes to everyone. For example, the delivery boy who is going to deliver the food, and the food hotel who is going to prepare food for us. So every information is automatically going to all the places. Normally, robots are used in industries, heavy industries, where all the work which were done by humans are now done by the robots. For example, in the manufacture of cars, the car manufacturers are already moved in using robots. They'll be reducing the mistakes done by the human. So robots are already in the industries, but these robots are not used by us in our profession. But the robots means it is only a program and not the real robots. We are not going to replace humans with the robots which will be sitting in an office and doing all the work. It is not like that. The robotic process automation is only the process of programs which will help us in reducing our repetitive works. So the RPA in audits, the PwC estimates that the 45% of workforce tasks can be automated. So it can around the world, and it can save an estimate of rupees 142 lakh crores in global workforce cost. So some of the lots of works are done manually. So these works, if they are converted into RPA, then we can save a lot of cost in workforce. And also the same workforce can be utilized for more useful things rather than doing basic manual jobs, which can be automated using RPA. The auditing robotic process will save time and cost for our practice. So we don't have to go on looking for all the bills and vouchers. So whatever data which is taken, downloaded by us from online can be easily converted into our RPA, and the results will be available maybe within a few minutes or few minutes. For example, take an example of the bank audit. So normally when we, the traditional bank audit was that we were, when it was in manual books, we used to go vouch and verify the books of the branch. But now it is completely moved to core banking solutions. So with this core banking solutions, what we can do is we can download various reports from the CBS, and we can utilize for doing our analysis and doing our audit. So most of the work are done only by downloading the reports. After which, after getting the final results, we will be changing over to the manual process, wherein which we physically verify whether it is available or not. So this report, which is available in the core banking solutions, can be taken by us when we go to the branch, or even if we work offline. Recently, during this COVID crisis, our bank audits were done in a remote location from our official office. So so in that case, we can get the reports from the branch mailed to us, and with that report, we can start doing our analysis. But for that analysis, the problem is that the data which is available as reports to our audit is not in a proper format. Either it can be in a text format, or some reports are available in Excel format. Some are available in PDF, and some are in text report formats. So what we do is we convert those text files into the Excel formats, wherein which it will be easy for us to analyze. So for that conversion of text into Excel, we have to do a process. So normally what the process is, we import the text file into the Excel, and we use some codings, and we remove some of the unwanted columns and rows. So whereby we can get a full table in which we will be able to analyze the bank audit data. Even for concurrent audits, every month we do the same process of verifying whether the cases are exceeding the limit or overdue or not. So these are the process normally we follow in every month on with our staff. But when we normally what it takes is this conversion process normally takes 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So normally what it takes is it takes another either 20 minutes to 30 minutes. But the same process, when we automate it, it can be done within a span of few seconds. Just only maybe it will take another 5 to 10 seconds to get all the reports placed in perfect analyzable format. So even some of the programming can be done in such a way that we can easily track what are the cases which are classified by the bank and which are not yet classified. So even that kind of analysis can be done automatically when we pre-program it. So these are some of the process which we follow in bank audit. So when we automate these kind of process, the time and cost will automatically come down. And the major financial institution deploy RPA bots to prepare the task of over 200 human staff at about 1/3 of the cost. So these are some of the live examples wherein some of the financial institutions are deploying RPA bots. So these RPA bots replace the work of 200 humans at the cost of 1/3 of the cost. So a huge amount of cost can be saved with the help of these bots. In our auditing profession, the same can be followed, wherein which we can save at least the repetitive works which we done day to day. For example, the GST return filing process is done on month on. Every month we do the same process. The same process which is being done by our staffs can be automated, and wherein the results can be available in a very few seconds, and which can be done only by a very few staff, even with a large number of cases and a large number of data. So now moving to what is RPA. So the Institute of Robotic Process Automation, IRPA's definition of the RPA is it is an application of technology that allows employees in a company to configure computer software or a robot to capture and interpret existing application for processing a transaction, manipulating data, triggering response, and communicating with the other digital systems. Considering actually RPA in India is not so well-known term, but in other parts of the world, in different countries, like the more developed countries, they are using this RPA in a large number of sectors. The manual process where repetitively is involved is being tracked down by some of the firms which practice exclusively in giving this RPA consulting. So what the RPA firm, what they does is they just go to the company, they just look at how the existing process goes on, and they work out the process which can be automated, and they provide the solution. So presently, this is the RPA process being followed by some of the firms in other countries. So this definition, so it is simply an application of technology. So there is no robot available in RPA. It is only the process which is automated. So normally a process which is automated is called the RPA. As per the definition, it is only an application of technology that allows employees in a company to configure computer software. So it is basically a computer software which is used, which is called as a robot. So as per the normal term, the robot is not equated in here. It is only a computer software that is used by us in our office. For example, a Tally is a software, or any other application is a software. So on the similar lines, so RPA is also a software, and it is not exactly a robot. So what that computer software does is it captures and interprets existing applications. So we already have an application wherein the data from the application is captured and interpreted, and it is given as a report. So it either does a processing of a transaction. So lots of transactions are available. So that transaction is maybe it can be processed. It is either manipulating of data. So existing data which is available in the Tally can be used to manipulate into a different kind of report, or it is or for a triggering of a response. So triggering of a response is that either with the given report, it can be sent to number of persons wherever they are available by email, or even for some of the other areas where in which the response is useful for the top management, it can be triggered. So whenever the response is triggered, automatically top management gets the information and they move on to better decision making at a quicker time. And also for communicating with other digital systems. So once we get the information from other application, it just picks up the information, it processes it, and send to the other application. So this is the basic definition of robotic process automation. So basically, it is a computer software and not a robot. And what it does is it captures the data from another application, and it processes the data available with it, and it gives a fresh report, which is normally done by the humans in a routine manner, taking lots of time. So this regular work can be minimized by the technology, which will allow us to reduce the cost of the employees, and also the it will give more efficiency. So RPA makes possible the automation of standardized, rule-based, and repetitive process. So normally these three kinds of data can be automated using RPA. The first thing is it has to be standardized. So standardized means that the data has to be structured. It cannot be unstructured. For example, when we give a photo to RPA, it will not process it. But when we give a proper text file, like a bank statement, our bank statement can be given to the RPA to analyze the various expenditure. That can be done. But when you give a photo, it cannot be done. So it has to be proper standardized. And also the RPA automation can be done only on rule-based. The rule-based is that we have to follow a regular protocol. We cannot deviate from the protocols, or it cannot think on its own. So RPA is not equivalent to a artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is that the system automatically thinks what it should do with the data which is available, wherein the artificial intelligence does not have the prior experience of processing the data. So artificial intelligence is different from RPA. So the AI is not rule-based. It will learn what the rule is. But RPA is completely different. It will not think on its own. So RPA is a basic software. So whatever rule you give, it will follow that. It will not deviate from the rule. So that kind of process can be done. For example, from in a bank statement, whenever we want to get the information of the salary received during the month, when we give a specific condition that if the word salary is available, we'll pick that as a salary. So if you give a rule like that, it will automatically pick that. In that case, if the salary transaction narration slightly changes, then this RPA will not think on its own and capture that salary. It will avoid it. So whenever there is a proper rule-based procedure, automatically RPA can be used, and it is a repetitive process. The third part is the repetitive process. The repetitive process is that day in and day out we do the same work, which is done by a human employee. For instance, we take the filing of our GST returns. Every month, the staff of in our office, what they do is they get the information from the client, they get the tally copy or the data from the client, and they start processing it. And after processing it, check for correctness of the information received. After which they file the returns. But in RPA, what we can do is the receiving of the data can be done by the staff, but the processing of the data can be automated. So the automation is that when we just open the tally data and also Excel, it can be, all the data can be imported into Excel and which can be used to process the data. So this the processing of data which was previously done by the employee can now be done by the system. So what happens is that the repetitive nature of the staff will be eradicated, and instead of just attending for 20 clients in a month, the employee can attend more than 50 or 60 clients per month. So they can be able to reduce their repetitive works by using this RPA, and can put their time in more useful process, like analyzing whether there is any difference and what are the so we will see a live example on how to do importing of GST or 2A into our an Excel. So these are the three things which can be automated: standardized data, the rule-based data, and the repetitive process can be automated. So to be clear, RPA is a computer-coded software. So as per the definition, it is a computer-coded software, and the programs that replace humans performing repetitive rule-based tasks. So the second thing is, it is a rule-based task program which can replace humans. The humans which the employees, the repetitive work normally they do, can be replaced by this RPA. And the cross-functional and cross now audible?
கேக்குதுங்க ராஜேஷ்.
Okay.
ஓகே.
கடைசி எங்க முடிஞ்சா?
இதான் இந்த இது.
ஓகே.
இந்த ஸ்கிரீன் தான்.
ஓகே. So RPA difference, what are the RPA differences? Pathing appadina, it is RPA is basically a computer coded software. So it is a software which is used to run our day-to-day official process, and the programs that replace humans performing repetitive rule-based tasks. So the employees who perform a repetitive task which are rule-based can be replaced by these programs. So only these kind of functionalities can be replaced by RPA. So it has to be done by the humans, and it is repetitive in nature. And finally, it is the cross-functional and cross-application macros. So macros is provided by Excel in using VBA. This Visual Basic helps us in recording the process which regularly we do in our Excel, and wherein which can be again used for the same kind of works. So we will be exclusively watching on how the macros can be used for the process of RPA. And to be making it clear, the RPA is not a walking or talking Autobots. So as I informed you earlier, the RPA is not a robots like which is available in Indian movie. So anga Rajini mari அது வந்து ரோபோட் கிடையாது, நம்ம பார்க்குற RPA. So இந்த RPAங்கிறது it is only a computer software. So physically existing machine processing paper. So it is not physically existing, and it does not process paper. And the artificial intelligence or voice recognition and replay software. So it is also not an artificial intelligence software. Also, it cannot voice recognition. But now in recent days, some of the RPAs are using this voice recognition. Actually, that is this RPA is slightly changing into RCA. It is called robotic cognition automation. So the RPA which can think is called the RCA. So that is the next future, which is that is the new technology which is being developed. So RPA is does not consist of artificial intelligence or voice recognition and replay software. So these kind of things are not available in RPA. RPA is only a coded software that replaces human performing repetitive rule-based tasks using a macro. So now we move into the key objectives of RPA. So key objectives of implementing an RPA is that the accuracy of the reports. Normally, the employees, whenever we ask them to prepare a report, we have to verify it again whether it is correct or not. That is the state of the employees. The probability of making a mistake by the employee is very, very high when they make a report. But in an RPA, that is not possible because the data which is taken from another application is converted using a program. So when a computer converts that program, the accuracy is almost equivalent to 100%. So we can rely on those reports for the accuracy. Next one is the higher efficiency. So when we implement an RPA, the efficiency of our output is very, very higher because we don't concentrate on doing the carrying work or the processing work. We are going to concentrate all our resources only on the efficiency part, like the analysis, wherein which the top level management can be given effective way of effective information to make their decisions. So the efficiency of our process will be completely changed when we move to RPA, because earlier for preparing those reports, it will take if it takes 6 to 7 days for preparing, for example, a tax audit report. When we implement an RPA for tax audit, we can get the final report, audit report, within half a day. So when we get a report with a tax audit report within half a day, after doing all the analysis and audits, it will be easier for us to present the case to our clients, and also it will be it will reduce the errors which were normally done by the manual process, because normally in our audits we do not conduct 100% audit of all the areas. But when we can implement RPA, it can be our efficiency can be moved to 100% rather than a much lower percentage. And reduction of monotonous work. So the reduction of monotonous work is that the repetitive, non-thinking works can be reduced, which can be taken care by the RPA. For example, when you go to a bank audit, we go to the CBS system, we download the reports, and the reports are taken to our working laptops or systems. And in our laptops, we start converting the process of converting process of the reports. So those converting process takes normally half an hour to 45 minutes for a report. And once we do that, if there is any mistake, we cancel those process and we start again. So until it is correctly taken, those processes are done again and again. So this is done for one of the branches. And after we complete one branch, we move to another branch. We do the same process. We do not use the same data. We take a different data. We do the same processing, wherein which we start the conversion of text file to into Excel. Or else, if we get a PDF, we convert those PDF into text or Excel, and we change the format for a easier analysis. So, how many? If there is 3 branches, for the 3 branches, you go do the same work again and again. So normally, for converting a single report, it will take half an hour to 45 minutes. So for the 3 branches, normally it will take a 2-hour time. So, but when we the conversion process, if it can be automated, then the automated process can be done within a span of 5 to 10 seconds. So once the data is converted into just within a minute time, in each branch we spend only a minute's time in converting those process. For the 3 branches, normally it will take only 3 minutes. So we get all the proper analyzed data within the span of 3 minutes. So normally there is a lot of time saving when we do this monotonous work. So when we properly, if we can implement this RPA, we can reduce a lot of time. Next is the cost savings. So cost savings is the cost savings of the employees which we employ in doing this monotonous work. For example, for every month we want to convert this GSTR 2A report into a analyzable format, and for comparison with the actual tally data. So whatever, which are the suppliers who have properly filed and taken the report to 2A, and who are not filed and which is not available in 2A. So these kind of processes are done month-wise for all the clients. But these conversion process will take a lot of time. For instance, our GSTR 2A has a lot of unstructured data. It is structured data, but there are unwanted data available. So which has to be removed for getting a proper formatted data. So these process can be done with the help of RPA. If it is the conversion process, if it is being done with the RPA, the employee strength can be very well reduced. For instance, if there is a need for 10 employees for doing the GST work for a month, it can be very well reduced to 3 to 4 employees, wherein which only 3 to 4 employees can be used to prepare all the data and send it to the clients. So there will be a lot of cost savings in case we can reduce the employees. Next is the skill upgradation of personnel. So the employees' skill can be upgraded with the help of automation. A very well talented employee can be used for a much more analytical areas and decision making areas, rather than doing a simple day-to-day monotonous work. So instead of the employee wasting their time in unproductive areas, they can be used for a more skilled and more useful areas. And the elimination of human errors. So human errors is inevitable. Even for the best of people, there is chances of getting human errors in their reports. But in automation, when you use the software, the errors will be completely eliminated, wherein which the results will be very accurate, and the chances of human error is very less. implementation of RPA. So what are the process normally it takes when for implementing an robotic process automation? The first thing we have, which has to be done, is we have to identify the manual processes. So what are the areas where manual processes are being conducted? So the employees use their what is the areas where they use their time in doing the manual process. So first we have to identify which are the areas that is being done, and which is also repetitive. The same person is doing repetitive work of the manual process. So that process has to be identified first. The next one is the document requirements and standards. So we have to first document what are the process we are going to follow and what are the standards which has to be set. So document requirements and standards are very important, so that for any software development, the documentation is very, very important. So the manual process which has to be converted, which has to be automated, has to be documented, and what are the requirements and standards has to be set out. And the next one is the preparation of data. What is the data which has to be processed, has to be taken care of, and we have to prepare the data in such a way that it can be automated and given the final report. So preparation of data is a must, because with this basic data we are going to make the process as a final report. And the fourth point is the design and implement a process. So the fourth point is this is the program wherein which we design how a program has to be connected. For example, it can be taken as an algorithm. So in a normal programming, before going for the programming, the programmers prepare an algorithm manually, and they manually work whether this algorithm properly works or not. The same kind of design for each process has to be done. So we have to work out a process, we have to design it. So what are the data which has to be inputted, and what are the process which we are going to make. The process can take even ranging from 100 process to even 1,000 process. But all the process has to be properly documented, so that in future, if there is any issues, we can go back to the documents and verify that. So design and implementation of a process is very important. And finally, test the output. So whatever the process which has been done has to be tested before getting into the final mode. So what we have to do is we have to give test results, test data to the programs, and we have to work out a manual results, wherein which we can compare the test results and the manual results. So if they both are correct, then we can confirm that our programming is right. So normally the output has to be tested using test data, and also all the possible output has to be tested using manual data. So once we test that and verify that if we can confirm that it is correct, then we can move on to the implementation in our premises. So the process normally involves identifying manual process, what are the processes which are being manually conducted by the staff. We have to set a document requirements and standards for that. The data which is used for processing has to be taken into consideration, and the programming of design and implementing a process has to be programmed. And finally, the worked out program has to be tested with the manual output results using test data. So if these are the process which has to be followed before implementing an RPA. So RPA across industries. So these are some of the areas where RPA is being currently used all around the world. So major part of the RPA is used in our area of profession. It is accounting and finance. So all over the world, nearly 54% of accounting and finance work are converted into using RPA. So because accounting and finance involves a lot of repetitive kind of data. So these kind of data are analyzed day in and day out. Instead of doing with a manual human employee, it is being done using RPA. Internal audits, taxation, IT, human resource, and operational. Operational is 25%, human resource is 8%, IT is 6%, and tax is 5%, in audit 2%. So, so the highest scope for using of RPA is in our industry, wherein in accounting and finance, nearly 54% of the current world accounting and finance industries are using this RPA for reducing their works. Now for the benefits of RPA. So these are some of the benefits of RPA, which has already been discussed. The first one is the cost reduction. So reduce cost through automating activities and requiring fewer full-time equivalents. So instead of full number of employees, we can reduce the number of employees, wherein the cost also gets reduced. So cost reduction is done because of this RPA. And the quality, increase quality by avoiding human error. So the human error is completely avoided. So if the human error is avoided, we give a better quality to our clients. Next is the talent. So boost employee engagement by shifting personnel to more interesting tasks. So instead of using a very talented person to a more repetitive work, they can be utilized for more analysis work, wherein which he can give a lot of inputs in developing our business. Next is the scalability. So the scalability is the increased capacity without a long build-up phase. So we can increase the capacity of work with a lower number of employees without having to without going for more expansion. Next is the 24/7 operations. So these RPAs are only a computer program. So these computer programs are they do not get tired. Humans get tired. They work from morning 9 to evening 9, but the programs do not get tired. So even if n number of times you are running that program, it will not hold on. It will keep on be running. So we can give 24/7 efficiency in using RPA. Decision making, improve executive decision making. So we get the data very quickly using RPA. Instead of getting the data in 6 to 7 days, normally we get the data in 7 days. So with data, with the quality data, we can improve our executive decision making. So our decision making will be much more concentrated rather than going for this manual process. So we don't have to wait till the manual process gets end. We can just go for the decision making right away if we get a run through RPA. Finally, the internal control. It reduces the potential for unintentional or intentional human errors. So human errors is completely avoided. So the intentional errors which can creep in with some of the employees can be completely avoided using RPA. Finally, the speed increase. So it reduces turnaround time. So instead of doing 5 works, we can multiply it by 5 times. So it can be we can do 25 works in the same time So the speed of the work can be increased and the quality also. So these are some of the benefits of using automation. So now to our practice, where RPA can be used in our practices. The analysis of the Tally daybook for cash-related transactions. So normally in Tally, we get a daybook. So for each, there are a lot of cash-related transactions which has to be verified while giving our tax audit report, and for the cash-related transaction has to be verified for every case when you give a tax audit report. So that can be analyzed using Tally daybook. So if we download the Tally daybook from the Tally software and just import it into Excel, it can be analyzed in a very quick time, wherein which the analysis for whole the company, the whole daybook can be done within a span of 5 to 10 minutes. It is all takes to completely analyze the cash transactions. So whatever cash transactions which we have to verify that can be done in our practice within a span of 5 to 10 minutes. And also the analysis of TDS with reports from Tally and Traces. So normally the TDS verification of all the ledgers from Tally and the actual TDS filed in the Traces report can be used to analyze it. If we make this kind of analysis, the report can be provided in a span of maybe within a half an hour for a company, wherein which the 100% of the TDS transactions can be easily taken care. So all the TDS analysis can be done within a span of just half an hour when we automate these kind of works. So we can get various ledgers from Tally for all the suppliers. We can download it from Tally, and the same report can be used to compare it with the Traces report. So normally we file 4 quarters of TDS returns. The TDS returns can be used to import inside the Excel, and the Tally report also imported into Excel, wherein which both can be compared for TDS analysis. And also for the bank reconciliation with accounts. So the bank reconciliation with accounts can also be done using this automation. We can now everyone almost has the internet banking. So with those internet banking, we can download the bank statements in soft copy. Those soft copies can be compared with the actual accounting entries made by the personals. So these two can be compared, and the reference can be automatically given by the RPA report. Next is the analysis of reports taken during bank audits. So as I informed earlier, some of the reports can be taken from the CBS system, which can be analyzed. So these reports normally take half an hour to 45 minutes to prepare them manually for our analysis. But with the automation, we can convert it into a proper analyzed report within a span of 5 to 10 minutes. And also the comparing of GSTR 2A with Tally. Normally this is the biggest challenge everyone should be facing, the comparison of the GSTR 2A with the Tally. In this case also, if we download the GSTR 2A Excel format from the GST portal, and also the report of the Tally from the Tally software, both can be compared, and the comparison can be automated, and we can give a proper report to the client, which clients have not filed their invoices in GSTR1 within the dates, and this can help the clients in because the 100% matching with the 2B will be coming shortly. So all the clients can be very well informed about who are the clients, who are the suppliers who are not filing the GST returns properly. So these are some of the areas wherein our practice which can be automated and which can reduce our time. So now we can move to some of live examples wherein which Excel macros can be used as a automation tool. So the automation tool it is not restricted to only an Excel. Any programming software can be used for automation of our day-to-day works. So these Excel macros can also be used. So I'll just be giving a live example on some of the works which I have automated for these conversion processes. The examples which we are going to see is the importing of bank reports for analysis using macros, and importing of GST or 2A for analysis using macros. So these are two areas which I will be sharing to you. So these are the reports normally taken by us from the bank branches. So this is the report wherein we get the information of the borrowers. So the different kind of information are available given to us in this format. So normally this format is in TXT format.
Sir, excuse
so
me.
which yeah.
The last slide only visible. We are using Excel macros.
Hello.
The last slide only visible. I think.
Oh, okay. So this is the this is the bank report, the loans report, which is downloaded from the bank CBS. So these has the information of the customer ID, the name of the borrower, the account number, the loan sanctioned amount, the number of EMI, the date of sanction, and some other information. So these information are available in TXT format. So the analysis of this TXT format is not possible without getting this data into Excel. So what we do is normally we convert this data into Excel using the import format. I think most of them are aware of this process. So what we do is we import what we do is we import the data of the TXT format into Excel. So this is how the text import wizard is used to do all the imports. I think everyone are already aware of this process, but normally this process will be done for all the branches wherever we go. So whatever branches we audit, we go to the branch, we download the report, we do the same process. But this can be automated in a different way. the process can be automated in a single click. So I'll just give you a hint of how it is done. So here I have a file. So this is a file wherein I have the information of the wherein I can import the data of the loan balance file and the ODCC file. So now this sheet is empty. It does not have any data. So what we now do is I have stored the relevant report files in this folder or Excel. This folder has the report files LN615, CH129. So some of the relevant files I have placed in this Excel folder. So this folder is created for picking up the external reports. The external reports are placed in this folder so that this Excel can pick the data from those folders. So there is a button called loan, wherein which if I just give a click, I just get all the data imported in my Excel. So this is the data of all the loans which was in unstructured format, now in a properly structured format for our analysis. So this is done within a span of a few seconds instead of doing the same process again and again. So this can also be done for the ODCC. So when I just click a button, all the data gets imported within a second. So the CC working capital related loan details are imported easily. So now I have to merge these both the reports, the term loan file and the ODCC file. So normally what we do is we copy all the data, we paste it in the next sheet. The first what we do is we first copy the term loan data and paste in the ADVALL file sheet. And second, we copy OCC data, copy this and paste in the ADVAL sheet. The problem is that for term loans, I use the same format. The headers are similar, but but the same format is not available for CC. For this term loan, we have account number, principal, sanction date, repayment months, maturity, return of interest, interest due, installment due, other due, total due, liability, remarks. But in working capital file, it is not the same. It has limit number, limit, DP, start date, end date, efficiency, outstanding. So both the sheets or columns does not match. But the same can be automated in such a way that the relevant columns can be placed in a relevant place. So if I click this ADVALL button, both the files are brought inside this ADVAL sheet. So you can find that there are totally 3962 rows here, out of which the loans is 2202 and the 1761 for working capital. So totally we have 3962. So some of the relevant columns are placed in the exact position of the headers. So not in normal format. It is because for term loan liability, the column N is used. So in this space, the column N is the liability amount, but in CC, the column J is the outstanding amount. So both has to be matched. So for that, it has been automated using a program, and the data is captured in the exact position. So this is how the automation is being done to minimize some of the repetitive works. So the list of all the advances of the branch are captured into our analytical system within a span of a few seconds. So this is one process. So now all the advances has been brought inside. Now the same process we do it for the bank and NPA. So what we do is the list of NPAs which are already classified by the branch are taken from different reports. So these reports can also be imported in the same process which we have done earlier. So that file can be imported. LN 695 and LN 682 files are imported, and both the files are merged into this bank NPA. So when in the click of a button, the full report of all the NPAs classified by the branch is available with us. One is the substandard list, and other is the loss and the doubtful list. So now we get all the list of NPAs. So finally, what we do is we do the same process. We import the already created two files, the advanced file and the bank NPA file. We bring these files into this report, and it can be used to analyze with pre-formatted formulas. So these columns are already pre-filled with formulas, so that if you just paste the data, it will automatically give the result. So I'll give you so if you delete the data, all the data will be gone. So whatever data is imported in this file will automatically give the results, which can be used for easier analysis. So this is how the bank audit work can be automated in a simpler way, so that we can do the bank audits and we can go for more verification of the customer, the borrowers of the bank by getting the report very quickly, and we can go for better reporting using this automation. So this is how normally bank audit reports can be automated for giving better results. So this is not only NPA classification is not the only area. We can even import the customer balances of all the borrowers with the reports, and also for the cash verification, cash balance verification for LFAR reporting, and some of the other areas also can be used for automation and getting a proper result. And the next one we are going to see is the automation in importing GSTR 2A. So this is the GSTR 2A, which is available from the GST portal. The problem is that all the GSTR 2A report has these two lines. One is the individual entries and the total of that supplier invoice wise. So these are some of the lines which are available. So the problem is that some of the data will be having more than one rows, and the total will be only one. So in such a cases, it will be difficult for us to convert in a proper analytical for better analysis. So what we do is we again automate this process for better analyzing. by removing the total columns. So if we can remove the total columns using automation, our work will be simpler. We don't have to do these process for each and every client every month on. So for instance, if I want to remove the total columns from this report, I just have to filter this. This is one of the ways which in which we can reduce this. So normally we select the whole report and we give a filter. And in this, we can type it as total. So we have to remove this total. So we just can delete it and we can remove the filter. And after removing the filter, we can remove the blank. And select the blanks and delete the rows. So we get a proper reportable format without duplication. So if we get if we also have the total rows, of each supplier, it will be giving some errors like duplication errors. So with this process, we can get a report of the whole 2A properly. So this is a process which has to be done on monthly basis for all the customer. So this process can be automated easily. So I have a folder called GSTR 2A. This GST IWS sheet is a working sheet which we use for importing the tally as per the data, supply data as per books, the purchase data, the supply data as per books, inward supplies, and the GSTR 2A. So normally the GSTR 2A is not available here. So with just a click of a button, I can do all the same process and get it here, and with the report. So here I have the report wherein there is a comparison between the GSTR 2A and the IWS. It's the inward supplies. So the inward supplies is based on our books, and GSTR 2A data is as per the GST portal data. So the difference can be arrived at by just importing the data and giving a proper formula. So these are all formulas wherein I use the sum if functions to arrive at the results. So here we can find that the items which are in red are not matching with the books. So this has to be verified. So for instance, in row number 66, we have the supplier in our books, but the same is not available in GSTR 2A. So this report can be clicked with an export. So a report can be generated like this in PDF format, and it can be sent to the clients for their further verification. So this is how the automation of the GSTR 2A and comparison with the inward supplies can, as per books, can be done. So I'll just give a visual of the programming codes which normally is used. Actually, the codes these are all purely Microsoft Visual Basic Application. It is called VBA. It is a programming software. There are lots of programming software, but normally they are using VBA. So this VBA is used to for programming. So for importing 2A, I normally use this kind of, these are some of the syntax and the codes which are used to import the data. Actually, normally as professionals, we are not very much aware of these codes. But in the recent years, our ICA has brought these macros in the advanced information technology training, so that the future CAs can have a good knowledge even in the area of programming, which will help them to automate their works. And this programming also need a lot of patience and a lot of interest. Without patience, we cannot do all the programming, because it takes a bit of a long time. So normally this is how the reporting can be done. These are some of the areas where the repetitive works can be done in a very quicker way, and which will help in improving our presentation to the clients. So this report can be given to the client so that he can just give his feedback or ask his suppliers to do the work correctly. So this is about my presentation on the topic of robotic process automation. So if any of the members does have any questions on this topic, I'll be very much happy to answer that.
Nicely done, Ramesh, Rajesh. Excellent presentation, especially on a subject which is completely new to us. And I also appreciate our ICA managing committee for having brought a new subject for our sharing. While I appreciate all the points that is mentioned by you in your report, this RPA has got its own limitations also. That should also we should know. But it's not a disadvantage. I should say it is some limitations that what RPA is having. The first point is this RPA is best suited mostly for manufacturing industries and not for legal industries. Legal industries is the last sector which is for which this RPA can be applicable, because the legal industry, every day some changes are coming in some law or some legal format or anything, mandatory format or anything, so that we cannot change our program every day, and everybody cannot know what the program is. Of course, macro we can change, no problem. But when you implement an RPA purchased from others, then naturally for changing this program also, you are dependent on a third party who should come and who should change it. And he will take his own bloody time for changing all those things. That is one pretty limitation that we have got.
Yes, sir, that is very true. Yes, sir, that is very true.
That is the pretty limitation. That is one part of it. The second part of it is the standards have not been correct, because the only when the customer has got this implemented his RPA in his system, that we can extract data from him in the same way as we are extracting from others. Because for each client, we cannot introduce or implement one RPA in our system. See, for all the clients together, we can implement only one RPA and we can extract data and we can get data. Otherwise, we have to get the data manually and insert the data in our system in some other way that is most suited to us. That is the second system. If the RPA is implemented in the client's database also, then we can easily do it. That we should produce a sense in the customers also, so that they can also implement this RPA. RPA is of course nothing but, see, even our day-to-day filing of returns, that is only a part of RPA. That's what we are doing is today is a part of RPA. But when the system goes wrong, neither the government nor the customer, that is chartered accountants, can do anything about it. It's only the Infosys who has to come to rectify it, and how long they will take it, nobody knows about it. That is also another limitation for introducing this RPA. So these are all some basic things, and better if the RPA who is actually implementing this RPA, who is actually writing the code for this RPA, should also be a chartered accountant. Then otherwise, they may not
Yes, sir.
know the intricacies of the subject. If they know the intricacies of the subject, then they can always make some provisions for some other changes in the future to come or something like that. That they should analyze and they should do it. That how they are going to, that is a condition that you should make it. Whenever we are purchasing an RPA, we should see that whether it has been done and coordinated by a chartered accountant, or at least managed by a chartered accountant who has got some other computer specialist to work under him, so that he knows what he is doing and he is implementing. The Tally is one program where we are failing is actually when they are implementing it, they don't implement even the coding system or anything like that in the Tally. For accounting code and other things, it's entirely different for each client. Each account code is different. So when you are extracting code and we are doing this, you should have to do it for that client separately, and they cannot do it as a whole for all the clients put together. So these are all the things where they can implement something and we can they can do about it. I don't say it as a disadvantage. It is a thing. One thing, there should be standardization in everything. Second thing, we should be well aware of what we are doing. Third thing, the person who is actually doing it should be aware of the intricacies of the business, like accounting and auditing and what are all the things required. The fourth thing what I wanted to mention is for auditing purposes. What we have been discussing is mainly about it can best be used as an auditing tool rather than auditing itself. That is what I say. So, Excel we are using, Word we are using. How we are using it? We are using it only as an auditing tool. Auditing is done by the auditors and auditing apprentices or somebody else, and they are getting the reports done and other things. The data, the truthness, the correctness of the result always depends mainly on the correctness of the data that we are extracting from the client. Unless you see the data, it may not be possible for you to know or understand whether the data is correct or not. That should be some way to understand. There should be some way to estimate whether the data are correct or not. The comparison of data with the previous year data, the comparison of data with the different units of the same, that is horizontal comparison as well as vertical comparison. Those things should be made possible in this RPA. Only then we can depend on the data and we can proceed with it, because we are actually signing the balance sheet. When we are signing the balance sheet, we are responsible for the data inside also. There should be some way for doing it. That is another part of it. And the basic part of auditing, like vouching and all, is not possible by this RPA. That has to be done only manually. That is also to be very clearly mentioned here. Because we can do only what the accounting software has given you. The data you can extract, that you can do it for your further processing only. It is only further processing, not the basic accounting or basic auditing. That basic auditing, namely this vouching or comparing data and all those things, they have to be done only manually. That's why my view of it. Your view is welcome.
Yes, sir. Also, the another thing normally what in every CA office they do is they do not use the income tax portal to do their filings. They normally use a third-party software like Genius, Computax, or some other software, wherein which the filing process is automatically taken care by the softwares. Actually, they are not, every step is not done by the staff. Automatic login, and until then filing and getting the acknowledgement back to us, everything is taken care by those systems. So also these are.
That's an excellent thing. Only thing is there should not be any mistake or any error should not happen in between, or any change in the method or any change in the method of accounting or whatever it is should not be there. That is the main thing to be followed. So in our office, when I was working in Tirupur districts, I had introduced this RPA for tax deducted at source for all the staff.
Okay, sir.
As well, preparation of this profit and loss account and balance sheet in the company law format, 2013 format. Like that we had made, but it is not ultimate. That is to be finally
Yes, sir,
verified by
correct.
somebody. That is not
Yes, sir.
ultimate.
That's true, sir. That's true. Even vouching, it cannot be automated unless it is available. All the data are available in
Available in the
the
digital
system.
form. Unless it is
Yes, sir.
available
Yes.
in digital form, you cannot apply this RPA for it. But unfortunately, these vouchers and all are only manual and they are not digital in format.
Yes, sir. So, but still, RPA is very, very, very new to our country, and I think it has even RPA is very new to some of the well-developed countries. Only a few countries are getting implemented with the RPA process in their industries. So it is a very, very new, and it's a very small baby, to be frank.
That is right. It's a very, very welcome technological upgradation that we should appreciate. But before that, we should know what is there. We should know
Yes.
how to rectify it. We should know how to implement it, how to operate on it. That we must know. As chartered accountants, we must know it.
Thank you, Venkatram sir. Other members can also ask their queries directly or to the chat box. I think there is no more queries. I think. Chairman, do you have any comments? Rajesh, sir?
Shall we conclude?
So finally, I should thank the Tripur branch led by Chairman Murugesh and his team for allowing me to make a presentation. So it is a very new topic, and it is a very new area, and we are mostly used to traditional practice, and this is a new area where in which we can. If we put some efforts, we can save a lot of time and money. So once again, I thank the branch for this opportunity. Also, thank you everyone for the patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh, sir, for your excellent presentation and detailed presentation on robotic process and automation on accounting and auditing. I think it's time for closing our meeting. I thank the members who are present and the branch staffs, administration staffs for arranging this meeting, and management committee for arranging this meeting. And I thank one and all again, and good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.